many times there's not that clinical diagnosis, but like
Right.
many times a co-parent can see certain traits or behaviors really that they see in their co-parent, right? And they're like, oh man, that falls into narcissistic, and I see these other things that really seems to fit too. And then they start calling their co-parent a narcissist, and there's really not a clinical diagnosis. Like you kind of said before, it's like all of a sudden they're an expert on it, or maybe their therapist has even said, well, that sounds like he's got narcissistic personality disorder. And then you're often running with this. It's like, how do you even know your co-parent
Mm.
has a disorder, and does it matter in the long
Yeah,
run?
okay. Right, right. So, these can be really the worst relationships. So the way to kind of analyze it, if you're in a relationship like this, or you're co-parenting with someone that you're just not getting along with, you look for these things. Are they? Do their words contain all or nothing statements? It's a lot of "I'm done. You're out of here. You're never seeing the kids again. You should never see the kids. I'm not letting your mom see the kids ever again." Just these big all or nothing statements. Do you see unmanaged emotions like hysterical crying, lots of crying a lot of the time, uh, anger, right? So with borderline, there's borderline rage. And I mean, if you've experienced borderline rage, you know what you're dealing with. It's intense, it's hot. Narcissistic rage can be the same, and it can be very punishing. If you're experiencing revenge, the borderline personality will can often become very vengeful and vindictive, and they just can't let it go. So, if you've kind of been the target of that, that might be what you're dealing with. With the antisocial, you just might feel confused, like stories don't match up, things don't match up, but I don't know. It's just antisocial is also the term is used synonymously with sociopath, and you don't want to think of your child's other person as a sociopath, right? Or child's other parent. So you just have to look for these patterns of behavior, and you think, okay, would 90% of other people do this? Right? If they wouldn't, then I need to pay attention to what's going on here. Some things they shouldn't do. You shouldn't go tell your co-parent, you're high conflict, you're borderline, you're a narcissist, you're a sociopath. Bad idea. Even if you think they qualify, right? Or even if they have a diagnosis. What's really most important is to watch for the patterns of behavior and learn to do something differently. Does it matter to know whether they have one of these personality disorders or not? It's a good question. I think we all deal better when we know what we're dealing with, because you can adapt the right, so to speak, medicine or the right strategy for what you're dealing with. And that's why we see family court backed up with so many cases. They're often high conflict cases because they're people that don't know how to interrelate. They're kind of relationship disorders. One person may have it, one person may not, and just doesn't know how to deal with it. So learning to do the right strategies is vital. So if that means having an understanding that, okay, maybe my ex has a narcissistic personality, you don't use it as a battering ram, but you use it to get smarter, to get educated, and to learn new skills to deal with them. Because what happens is we keep applying the same strategies, reactions, responses with these folks that we do with everyone else, and they don't work, right? So you just keep tripping over the same log over and over, and you never get anywhere, and the conflict is back and court. So you have to learn to manage the relationship with that person, so that you're not stumbling over the logs, so you're not constantly in court and constantly fighting.